what's your understanding of the current De Jong situation? And could there be a breakthrough for one of the Manchester clubs? Because now, you know, City are linked with him again this morning in the next week or so. What's your understanding of that current situation?
Well, I think it's funny that City are now being mentioned again in the conversation. I mean, as soon as United were linked, I was like, I did a piece of Give Me Sport, and I was like, if Man United are genuinely going for Frankie de Jong, if he's available, Man City will come into that conversation. Like, there's no way that they're going to let that pass. Like, they've got that exact area of the field opened up. They've just tried to sign Paul Pogba, didn't get him. They want somebody of good status, of good pedigree to go into that midfield. How could they ignore Frankie de Jong? But the kind of briefings straight off the back of it were Man City saying, we're not in for Frankie de Jong. And I'm like, we'll see. And now, like, they're starting to arise again. I just don't believe that Man City would let United have a free run at signing Frankie if he was genuinely available on the market. And then you are faced with a situation for Man United whereby, yes, like the whole Ten Hag thing, I'm sure is intriguing to get Frankie de Jong. But what about the Pep Guardiola angle? Like, Frankie de Jong's gone this Cruyffian route from Ajax to Barcelona. Would he not be enticed to go with Pep Guardiola, who's come from Barcelona, and play that style of football? Or is he going to put all his faith in Ten Hag being the man that fixes Man United and gets it right? It's a big show of faith, that. Like, that's a big leap to go from Barcelona to Man United. And even though Barcelona aren't the Barcelona we all knew and loved, some people love, some people hate, but like the type of football we like to watch, they've started their rebuild so quickly. They're bouncing back so fast to get back in the title race for next season. And Man United, 8 years later, are still kind of similar phases where they were. So from what I understand, like, Frankie's absolute preference is to stay at Barcelona because, like, that's the decision he made. He wanted to be a Barcelona player. He wants to be a success at Barcelona. And, you know, especially if they end up signing like Lewandowski for next season, I find it difficult to believe that Frankie would want to leave a project like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, it doesn't seem right to me that Frankie would want this move. But from a Barcelona angle, keep hearing about the fact that they want to cut the wage structure. They want to get the big wages off the bill. And if they are genuinely looking to do that and they're going to sign Frank Kessie, then maybe they are going to look at getting rid of Frankie de Jong, because they've got Gavi, they've got players coming through there that are willing to play in those same positions as Frankie, and that can probably hit as high a level over the next couple of years as he's capable of doing. So it's a really difficult one to read, but as it stands, I have to believe that Frankie de Jong's preference is to stay at Barcelona. If things change that are out of his control, then he's going to have to really make a big decision about where in Manchester he lands.
Do you know what, Dean? I think your overview is absolutely spot on. And I think that I kind of believe the Spanish press in the sense of maybe Man United and Barca are close to an agreement about what it would cost to get Frankie de Jong out. But I believe that opens up a whole new can of worms, which, you know, something I tweeted over the weekend was, I do feel this and I do believe this, that Frankie de Jong is the closest he's ever been to leaving Barca. But that doesn't mean anybody knows where exactly he's going to go, because City could sit back almost Liverpool-esque, as they did with Luis Diaz, watch Liverpool Spurs do all the work, and then sweep in. Well, we know what the acceptable offer is now, because United have got it down to 65 million. We'll bid 65 million. Then you've got a whole different kettle of fish, because Frankie de Jong is not 100% bought into the idea of going to Man United. That is so well reported by it doesn't matter what journalists you follow, what tiering system you put them on socials. They're all saying very much the same thing. It's whether or not you can be convinced to stay. PSG may throw their hat into the mix. They tried to get Tchouaméni. They're clearly looking at a dynamic midfield player, and it could be him. So my thoughts, based on everything I've read, people I've spoken to, I feel like Barca will cash in on him, or at the very least may accept some bids. As you say, it's then down to Frankie de Jong to look at this situation and go, well, where is the best place for me? And I've said all along that if Man United have competition in this from PSG, from a Man City, from a Liverpool, I just can't see Man United saying yes to us over those teams. It just, I know that the Ten Hag pull will be a factor, but as you say, Man City right now, champions of England, they've just signed Haaland, they've got Alvarez coming in, Pep's the manager. It isn't a rebuild, it's a ready-made-to-go project. It's going to be an intriguing one to see, but You know, if they don't go in for him, and it's only Man United, you know, if reports last week are to be believed that City aren't going to come back in for him and PSG aren't going to look at him, and it's just Man United and Barca keep saying, we want to sell you, then of course he can come to Man United. I still there. It's just, does anybody else come in for him if Barcelona agree to sell? That's where my head's at with it, really.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're also looking at like £75 million here. Like, this is a substantial amount of money. So, like, that's the majority of United's transfer budget. One thing I did check this out with somebody else. I'm just actually going to get the text up, and from what I said to him, I said, like, what's your reading into Frankie? And they were like, Ten Hag 100% wants him. The plan that he's spoken about is pairing him with Van der Beek and talking through this idea he's got for how this team is reborn. And that combination of Van der Beek and Frankie de Jong is something that has been spoken about. And that is quite interesting. I said Ten Hag has spoken to de Jong to see if he fancies it. And there is a feeling that he would. And then, again, he talked about Gavi, Pedri and Frank Kessie as a potential new midfield at Barcelona. And if that all comes together, then it does become more plausible that Frankie de Jong is an option for Man United. So, you know, that's the sort of information I'm getting on it. There are all the bits in between to be filled in between now and whenever this transfer is decided.